So, guys, you guys obviously know what fighting is, right? You know what MMA is, you know what wrestling is, and you probably know what boxing is. But today, we're going to talk about wrestling because out of all of the ones that I just explained, I think wrestling is by far the weirdest. I really do think wrestling is such a weird sport. And when I talk about wrestling, I'm specifically talking about wrestling like in the WWE or AWE. I honestly think it's so weird how people just watch these incredibly bloody fights for literally just no reason. Like these people are literally torturing themselves and like just like breaking their bodies, every single inch and bone of their body open just for your entertainment. And I really don't understand.
As Mark Briscoe that these four men give. This is unbelievable.
Now, just to preface this video off, if you like watching stuff like WWE or AWE, more power to you. You know, you found something that you like in watching, and that's cool, you know? I don't have a problem with that. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to shit on it, that I'm going to stop shitting on it. Fuck no. In fact, I'm probably going to shit on it even more. You know, if you're okay with it, that's fine, but I'm not okay with it. You know, I'd rather keep my distance, if you know what I mean. Now, to start this video off, one of the things that I really don't like about these modern wrestling TV shows, if you will, you know, quote unquote, is that it portrays wrestling in a very unrealistic way, right? Modern wrestling, true wrestling, that's probably a better way to say it. True wrestling is more about grappling and overtaking your opponent. It's more of what you would see in your traditional high school wrestling league, right? That's what true wrestling is. That's how wrestling originated. It's not about trying to stomp on someone's dick and trying to fucking break it open like you see on fucking AWE. Like, that's not what true wrestling is, so I don't really know why it's portrayed that way. Well, actually, I do know why it's portrayed that way. It's because people like shock value. People like shock content. It's the same reason why shock videos were so popular in the early to mid 2000s. People like shock content. It's the reason why Eminem is so grotesque in his music. Again, people like shock content, okay? And I'm not gonna lie, I like my fair share of shock content too. But at the same time, this doesn't mean I'm gonna go and watch videos of people getting like curb stomped with barbed wire or some shit. Like, not once have I gone on Netflix and been like, I think I want to watch like a video of two naked men fucking fighting to the death in a bloody battle. No, I've never thought of once doing that in my life. I've never thought of like watching content like that. I really don't understand why people really like watching stuff like that. And that's another thing. It's all scripted. All of it is scripted. At least if you're watching stuff like MMA, that stuff is not really scripted. For the most part, it is not scripted. It's all raw, unedited footage of people fighting. And I respect that a lot more because it's two people that have been that have been practicing their whole lives to beat the other opponent. They want to feel victorious. They want to actually beat their other opponent because they want to prove to themselves and to everyone else that they're stronger, more powerful. They can predict the other person's moveset. They're able to counter their hits, right? They're able to land their hits better. You know, all that stuff. It shows how good they are at the sport that they practice, right? But when you're watching stuff like wrestling, like WWE or AWE, it's like it's like people are just fighting to just hurt themselves. Like, I don't understand that. It's like, why the fuck would you do, like, this has to be a kink, bro. I genuinely think it's a kink. Like, are the bills really that high to the point where you need to fucking shove shards of glass up someone's fucking like booty hole and like fucking punch the shit out of them 10 times? Like, are the bills really that high? I don't think they are. Like, this has to be a kink, bro. There's no way you're doing this just for the money. Like, there's something else psychologically going on. A lot of these people die, bro. There's people who die doing these stunts. Like, I just want you to let that sink in. People are literally risking killing themselves just because it's cool and it gets a lot of views and they get money out of it. I don't understand that, and I really just don't get it. I remember the other day, I came across this one video on Instagram of wrestling, got it on my For You page, and it was this guy. I'm not even going to show the video because it's just kind of inappropriate and I don't want this video to get flagged, but basically this guy grabbed a dingling shaped item, right? I don't want to say the exact words, but you could probably use your imagination. He grabbed a dingling-shaped item and literally just shoved it down the other person's throat as he was fighting him. I really don't understand why you would do that. Like, that shit literally made James Charles look straight. Like, I want you to let that sink in. What? Why are you doing this? I don't understand. I don't fucking understand. Now, I remember watching this South Park episode. Now, for those of you who don't know, I love South Park. You know, South Park is probably my favorite TV show of all time. I'm not gonna lie. I literally have a South Park poster framed in my room. That's how obsessed I am with the show. Like, it's literally my favorite show of all time. I think it's literally peak comedy. I'm not gonna lie with you. But yeah, anyway, I remember there was this South Park episode where they literally made fun of the WWE. And I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't relate with that episode anymore because every single criticism that I've had in this video, and they've also kind of like criticized in that episode of South Park. That shit was so hilarious. That was one of the videos, or sorry, one of the TV show episodes that I really just felt like I could relate to because I really felt the same way about the WWE. I really don't understand why people like it, but yeah. But hey, at least it will never be as boring as YouTuber boxing, right? Because I think we can all agree that YouTuber boxing is way more boring. At least WWE and AWE try to entertain the viewers. I really can't say the same for YouTuber boxing, right? The first boxing match that comes to mind is Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. That was the most boring fight of my entire life. Like, watching that was so boring. Watching paint dry was more enjoyable. You know, nothing interesting happened in the fight. It was just them sitting around, moving around and, barely throwing punches here and there. Nothing really happened. I swear, if Jake Paul was actually put up against an actual fighter that was very skillful and wasn't older than Joe Biden's ancestors or some shit, I'm so confident Jake Paul would have lost within the first round. Because Jake Paul can't fight for shit. He literally can't fight for shit. Because all his opponents are handpicked. Every single one of his opponents are handpicked. That's just how a lot of boxing is nowadays, and he's no exception. So yeah, that's the end of the video, guys. Let me know what you think of the WWE and AWE. I would love to know your opinions. Personally, I think it's pretty weird, as mentioned in this video. But, let me know what you think. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know why you watch it or don't watch it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that good shit. And be sure to follow my TikTok. I also post on TikTok occasionally now. I'm trying to post more often on there. I'll put it in the link in the description. But yeah, see you guys in the next one.